Hey, what's going on, everybody? I got my man Brian here. Faithful,
Going
faithful.
on.
What's up? What's up? Faithful listener of the Ringside Reporter podcast. And let's just make no mistake about it. Full disclosure, Brian knows this. I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan, and he's a huge Deontay Wilder fan. But
That's
one
right.
one area where we can find common ground is we're pretty objective. I mean, we admit our biases, but we can also be objective about the situation. And we all know that there's been a ton of excuses that Deontay Wilder made going into after the rematch. And he said prior to the rematch, he had some issues. But recent news that Deontay Wilder just got some bicep tendon surgery um, on his left arm. He already had bicep tendon surgery on his right arm before after the Chris Arreola fight, and he broke his hand in that fight. But in this fight, he's alleging, and he's not even alleging; it's fact because he got the surgery. He had a bicep tendon injury in the left arm. I want to talk about something. I want to give my man Evan Young on Twitter, guy that's been following the sport of boxing probably longer than me. He's older than me, and he said something to me before the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder weigh-in for the rematch. And he texted me on Twitter, he DM'd me on Twitter, and he said, "B, did you notice that Deontay Wilder's left arm looked a little bit different than his right arm? It looked a little bit swollen down by the bicep area." And he said to me, "He looks like he may have did something to his arm." He said go back and watch the weigh-in. And I went back and watched the weigh-in, and Deontay Wilder did have a little bit of swelling. His left bicep down by like right. Let me see if I can get up here in the camera. Move this mic out the way real quick. Like right around, like right about like right here, his arm was a little bit swollen and tender. So Evan Young, again, a guy who followed the sport of boxing for a long time. He's also a personal trainer. He's helped people rehab injuries, and he spotted this before the fight. DM'd me before the fight. I checked it out, and I said, I don't know, maybe you may have something here. And if you go back and you watch the preview show, I don't know if you guys remember that. If you go back and watch the preview show, I said that to Eric, and Eric's like, I'll go back and watch it. And I can't remember what Eric said if he's seen it or not, but I did bring that up. And something else I brought up about Deontay Wilder too, because he has been injury prone throughout the course of his career, and a lot of that has to do with his form and technique. Sometimes when you throw wild punches and stuff like that, you don't do things the technical way. I mean, not everyone can do things perfectly, but the way Deontay Wilder throws punches, he's more prone to getting himself injured. Because I used to remember a lot of times, like when I would hit the bag wrong, my shoulder would hurt sometimes.
Mhm.
My wrist, if I slapped it, if I didn't put my full body weight into it, and I did like a slap, a lot of times I'd feel pain in my wrist, my shoulder, whatever. And it is what it is, man. I mean, so that could attribute to a lot of the injuries he gets. And not only that, this guy is getting older. The bones are going to be a little bit more brittle. The tendons and ligaments are going to be a little bit, less elastic. I got that word out pretty good. I thought I was going to fumble that word, but it's less elastic.
Right,
So,
right.
so I think maybe because he did say he had some stuff going on before the fight. I think maybe he may have been injured going into this fight, and maybe during the fight he could have probably thought he pulled
But it
something there.
works.
Yeah, exactly, made it
Yeah.
work. It could have he could have thought maybe like he pulled something there, or maybe it was just like a strain, but maybe it
Mhm.
was a small tear that got worse as the fight went on. I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you kick in with your take, Brian, and see if this is plausible or not to you. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
read some quotes from the article as well that Deontay Wilder said. So then we can kind of talk about these quotes in the article where he talked about his surgery.
Yeah.
So what do you think, man? Do you think this is legit?
Man, I think it's legit. I mean, man, he had this look on his face when before the first bell rung, he just had like this look on his. I mean, what you think? Did you notice that look?
I did.
He
Something did
had a
wrong. Something did look
yeah,
wrong.
something was. He just didn't look himself, man. You know, and I was wondering. I'm like, you know, I was kind of worried. Like, what's up with him? Is he, you know, is he nervous? I thought it might have been from nervousness or something, but he just looked really worried about something before that bell rung. And you know, I didn't pay no attention on the weigh-ins. You know, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. But
Go back and look
uh,
through it. Yeah.
you know, I mean, to be honest, it could be true because you know, with him and the way he trains, you know, basically when it comes to technique, throwing punches correct, it all comes down to you don't want to get injured. That's the reason why you learn good technique. You know what I'm saying? So you won't injure yourself. And he puts a lot on his punches. You know what I'm saying? And it comes from the arms a lot. You know, because his power is in his arms. So he probably is using more arms than feet, you know, when he's training, when he's fighting, and it's causing a lot of injuries. You got a hand injury, then he go through the hand injury, the
Um,
bicep injury.
both are.
Now it's the
Both are.
yeah, now it's another one. And I think it's legit, man, just because of how his technique is, because he puts a lot on his punches, you know, from his arm. But you know, it's hard when you're older and you're trying to recover from injuries. That's for sure, especially coming off of a surgery. And you know, to be honest, I told you and I told Jesse, I said I'm kind of glad this fight been postponed because if he just came off of surgery and was gonna fight in July,
Yeah.
that I don't think that would have been good.
He wouldn't have been ready, right? There's no way.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been ready.
So let
No
me.
way.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been ready. So let me. I'm gonna blow this up right here. See. I'm gonna see if people can see this because this was the message. This was the DM that my friend Evan Young sent me the morning of the fight. This is at February
Okay.
22nd, 10:58 a.m. He said, "Joe, did you notice anything or see what I saw when you reviewed the weigh-in with Wilder's left arm?" Let me see if I can put this up there. I don't know if people can see it. Hold on. See that message right there? Can y'all read it?
Yeah, it's a little blurry,
A little blurry, but let me pull it back a little
but I
bit.
see it.
Oh
Now I
shit.
can't see nothing.
Blacked
It
out right
went off.
there. Let
Yeah,
me
got to get it back up.
There we go. Let me see if I can put it in here now. There we go.
Yeah,
So,
I see it now.
Joe, did
Yep.
you notice anything at
Yep.
the weigh-in and see what I saw? You noticed the weigh-in with Wilder's left arm. Can y'all read that?
On the fight.
You can see that, right? Can you guys read that?
Mic check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yo, B.
Yes,
Mic check.
I can hear you. Let me see what happened here. Hold on.
Oh, okay, okay. It blanked out.
You blanked out. Okay. Hold on. Let me make sure I got that.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me fix this mic. Let me get that. Sometimes this mic is crazy. It has the wrong mic sometimes.
Okay.
It defaults to my webcam mic. Let me see. Here it is. This will be better. So this sounds better, right? Can
Yeah,
you hear?
yeah, that's better.
So much better. My fault.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So y'all,
Yeah,
you
I
was
said
able.
your friend, he must have had some money on the fight because he was paying attention to close details to
No, this is
notice
what
that.
I'm not gonna lie to you because I don't think my man he used to have a website
hmm
and it used to be a betting website and he used to like if you have to sign up for a membership and what he would do was he'd give you picks every week. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? And
Yeah.
the big thing that he would do, the most important part of his analysis before he made a pick was the weigh-in. Eric's the same way. Like a lot of people, they really watch the weigh-in before they make their pick.
Weighing, yeah.
And he
Yeah.
picked Wilder by knockout in this fight. And he
hmm
noticed, and he looked really close because he looks at these weigh-ins really close. And he
hmm
messaged me. You saw the message, right? You was able to
Yeah.
read that, right? He said, "Did
Yeah.
you notice anything with Wilder's left arm? It looked like some soft tissue damage." So I'm not
hmm
saying that he was like the thing was like totally shredded, like ripped to bits, but maybe it was inflamed. Maybe he thought that he could ice it, it would get better. And maybe during the fight, it just got worse. And it got worse to the point where he tore it bad and he needed to get surgery.
Yeah,
So
that was his what? Left arm, right arm. Which arm was it?
the left arm.
Which bicep? The
The left
left one.
bicep. Yeah, that's the one.
So
That's what he said. And that's the one he got the surgery on. You know,
yeah. So that's his jabs,
that's his jab hand.
his
Yeah,
hooks.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And
I
he likes.
mean that probably played a part. You know, it probably played a major part in the whole thing from the jump though, because he looked extremely nervous and worried, and he was sweating like a pig.
Yeah,
In the very beginning, like he was sweaty, man, you know, and I thought it might have been nervous energy, but you know, it's you know, like I said, I think it contributes to him his technique, you know, just
yeah.
straight up his technique, you know, because that's the reason why you learn technique. Good technique is mostly so you won't get hurt, so you'll keep balance, you know.
Think about it though. He had surgery right after the fight. And I'm gonna read the article, some quotes from the article. He said, let me see, hold on. He said, recovery is going well. I'm in therapy. I ended up injuring in my last fight, somewhere up in there, but everything is going great with it. That's another thing. I'm just focusing on recovery, getting myself back to full health. He said, I can't work out right now. So that's a big thing. He can't work out right now.
Yeah.
So, he said that.
July would have been right around the corner.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm looking forward to. Once I get here with my arm, I'm just looking forward to working out, being able to do the things I love to do. And then he said, everything that happened, it happened the last 15 minutes until the fight. So what does that mean? Everything that happened, it happened the last 15 minutes until the fight, Wilder said. He said, there's a lot of things that went on. There's a lot of things that I don't even want to talk about at this moment in time. I'm still reflecting on certain things, and I can't believe the things that happened to me, and they happened to me at that point in my career. So he's saying that he felt something 15 minutes before the fight. That's according to this quote. So he went into this fight. I mean, this is the one excuse that I actually believe.
Yeah, that's probably legit.
This is the one that, and I got to be honest, he probably should have pulled out of the fight and postponed it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here on this one. As much as I love Tyson Fury, and I don't want to take nothing away from Tyson Fury because he fought a beautiful fight, and Tyson Fury did what he had to do. I mean, everybody goes into fights injured. Like Floyd Mayweather went into that fight with Jose Luis Castillo with an injured shoulder. His left shoulder was hurt.
Yeah, everybody got something when they go in that ring on the fight night. It's always something that they got to get through. But that's every fighter, though. That's just something they got to deal with.
Right. That's right. So I don't mean to cut you off. Excuse me, but fuck all the Glovegate shit. Fuck all the fuck all the suit shit. Should have just rode with this one from the beginning because he got proof. He could pull out his medical report saying, "Hey, I got surgery on the motherfucker."
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, when you think about it, Wilder, like me being a Wilder fan, he really hasn't said too much since the fight. The only thing he did was get up there on that video and, talk about his bomb squad peoples and he's still the king and all that. But other than that, you haven't really heard him. He hasn't said nothing, even with the glove gate, that was mostly other people. You know what I'm saying?
But let's go back and read this quote. And then I'm going to ask you a question. Now, I'm just going to read this quote to you. He said, everything, let me see. I'm gonna cut off that part of it. I'm gonna go right to here. He said, there's a lot of things that I don't even want to talk about at this moment in time. I'm still reflecting on certain things, and I can't believe the things that happened to me, and they happened to me at this point in my career. That sounds like a guy who's a little bit depressed right now. That sounds like a guy that's going through some shit. He's trying to work that shit out in his own mind, and he's not ready to talk about it. So that's why everyone's like, "Where's Deontay Wilder? Where's Deontay Wilder?" I don't think he's in the right state of mind. I think he's got to do some soul searching, sort of like how
Yeah.
Tyson Fury did when he was, took that layoff. But here's the thing: Tyson Fury had almost 2 years to fix his shit.
Right.
Deontay
Right.
Wilder only got what, a couple months,
Maybe. Maybe. Because
and
we don't know how this year gonna go.
and let me ask you this: would you be surprised if they ended up postponing this thing to maybe even next year? This fight may not
Oh,
even
I
happen
wouldn't
this
be.
year.
I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't see it happening this year. To
Okay.
be honest with
Okay.
you, I think that's what's going to end up happening. It's going to get postponed because it's too much going on right now, and that's good for him. You
Yeah.
know, that's good for him because he needs to heal from that. But we'll see. You
Yeah.
know, we'll see.
And here's another quote. He said, "It's easy to understand what type of person Deontay Wilder was at that moment in time. Even when I took off my mask, the things that I was doing, I've been in the sport for a very long time. People have seen me fight all over the world for a very long time. So people automatically know how I am, know how I should look. People that know boxing know that wasn't Deontay Wilder that night. I was a zombie that night." And in all fairness to him, he did look kind of spaced out, like you said.
Yeah,
No question
definitely,
about it.
definitely.
I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan. Just like Joshua, in my mind, didn't look right in the Ruiz
Yeah,
fight.
that's how I feel too. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be real about it. Now again,
But Joshua didn't say
he
nothing.
didn't say shit. You gotta give
Joshua didn't say
listen,
nothing, man. That's what I
Joshua.
kind of like that about. We don't know what was up with Joshua.
Nothing
We
to this
still
day. We
don't know
still don't know. Eddie
till
Eddie
this
Hearn was
day.
talking. Eddie Hearn was talking. Other people were talking. Joshua kept his mouth
Didn't say nothing. Yeah. But that's the
shut.
thing when he came back, and that's why I was telling Jesse when he came back and won the fight, he kind of made it look like a fluke, you know, by beating Ruiz. But that's what you do. You know, he dominated the second fight. He didn't get the knockout, but he beat him for 12 rounds. You know, every round of that fight he won. So,
Yup.
but I think Wilder mentally he going through a state of shock right now. Probably just his mind is just in shock. You know, it seemed like he have a shock going on right now. It's just a straight shock. He don't know what to say. Don't know what to really say to explain that he had a bad night. It was just not your night, man. You know.
Now, obviously, I'm not a professional fighter, and I'm nowhere near the athlete Deontay Wilder is. But I've done my share of things in terms of athletics, and I messed around in the ring and stuff like that. But there came a time in my life where when it rains, it pours. Like my wrist started hurting me, my shoulder
Mm-hmm.
started hurting me, my knee
Mm-hmm.
started hurting me, and all this shit just happens. Like how they say
Yeah.
it comes in threes. Well,
Oh yeah.
this was a freaking trifecta of fucking doom for me because I
Right.
was,
Right.
I was hurting all over. And then you say to
Right.
yourself, why is this happening to me all at once like this? What did I do to deserve all this shit? And
Right.
it does weigh on you
It's
because
like a car. Like a
yeah,
car go through a problem, and then it leads to another problem.
yeah,
Next thing you know, it's just broke down. That's how your body feel, you know,
you
because
go
you
and
don't recover. You can't recover like when
you
you
can't
was
replace
young.
parts. You can't go to
Yeah.
mine. You can't go to mine.
Right. Right. Because I remember I was young. I used to injure myself, and man, I could go out the next day, and still do it out, because I played basketball, I boxed, I'll go out the next day and still do it. But now, I'll go out and do anything and I feel a cramp or a knot, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta heal from that, you know. But Wilder is getting older, man, and it's hard to recover from a lot of injuries like this. But what do you think about the trilogy? You think it's gonna look different, be different, whole different ball game, or what?
Well, I love to do this. I love to make comparisons and I love to make analogies, right? Sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
throw myself in these analogies, but I'm taking myself out this analogy and I'm gonna point to another fighter. You tell me if
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense to you. Andre Ward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Top of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Retired after the two biggest wins of his career. right?
Right.
What was his reasoning for retiring? My
Injuries.
my body was broken down. And
Right.
how old was he? About the same age as Deontay
Same
Wilder is
age.
now, right?
Yep.
And that's the turning point. That's the turning point in a person's career, man. When you hit
Yeah.
that 30, that's when everything, that's like the
Goes
top of the hill.
downhill.
You're at the top of the hill, right?
Right.
You got someone behind you ready to give you that shove, and you're gonna go woo like the roller coaster. That's
All
just
the way down. Yeah,
that's just
you
fucking
right.
life. Because when you're
You right.
35, you're right at the top, and you got 1 foot over to the other side, and all you need is someone to just go like this to you, boom, and you're gonna fucking
Right.
fall off. That's
Right. You're
where
gonna
Andre
slip.
Wood was. Andre Wood said to himself, "You know what? I got these 2 victories, but you know what? Maybe the next one I won't get. That's maybe the
Right.
next one. I feel my body shutting down a little bit. Maybe that next fight is the day when the wheels just fall off.
Right. Right.
Like the wheels are shaking right now. You know, the tie rods are a little loose, but I'm 1 fight away from those tie rods just snapping off and the wheels falling off.
Right.
So
But you know, one thing, if I can cut in real quick with Wilder,
go
the
ahead.
last, when he fought Fury the last time, and I was listening to a lot of his interviews, he kept saying how it sounds like he's tired from all the training, and it's been wearing down on his body. If you listen to a lot of his interviews, it kind of sounds like he's been complaining, and one thing leading up to that fight, that did kind of worry me because that's kind of like if your motivation isn't there, you know what I'm saying? Because the wear and tear after a while from the training itself. You know what I'm saying? Forget the fights. It's just the training camps that's wear and tear, and everything else that comes along with it. And, it could even be mental, mental as well as physical, all the stress and wear and tear. It's a lot of things, he's going to have to get over, to even get back in there with Fury. You got to be, I ain't going to lie to you, man. You got to be on your A game mentally, physically to beat Fury, man. People been saying that, okay, this is why Wilder been avoiding Joshua, but Fury is that guy, ain't he? He's that guy, man. You got to have everything against him. You got to be on point, you know. But I think Wilder is just going through a lot of shock right now, But this could be a classic matchup that we needed in boxing between these two guys. With all this controversy, all this talk, this is what boxing needed. This is why I like both these guys,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Deontay Wilder's body's probably taking as much punishment as it can take. And I think he's going to be plagued with nagging injuries the rest of his career. And I think,
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, no disrespect to Deontay Wilder. I wish the best for him. But Tyson Fury is probably going to retire him if they fight in the third fight. And he even said
Damn.
that if he loses in the third fight, he's probably going to retire.
Damn. Ooh. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough fight. The trilogy. Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be tough. Whoever wins, it's not going to be an easy fight for neither one of these guys, on this next one,
Well,
But, hey, let me ask you this. Have you heard about Wilder adding people to his camp? Have you heard anything? Who?
Yeah, let me read that. This is in the article too. Let me read this quote.
Okay.
Because I'm looking to bring someone in for sure, Wilder said. He said, we don't have it down yet, but I'm definitely bringing 2 people in. We'll see what happens. I think we formed a great team that's going to be formed. He said, Wilder, and then he was talking about George Foreman. He said, we talked about things that went on in his career, good and bad, and a lot of different tricks of the trade that used to happen. Certain things that he saw in the fight, and a lot of knowledge that he applied to me, Wilder said. He was telling me how he wanted to show me methods of strengthening certain parts of my body and stuff like that. He definitely dropped a couple of gems down for me, and it was good to hear. So he was talking to Foreman. I don't know if Foreman's going to be in the corner, but he says 2 new people are going to be in the corner. And here's the quote that everyone's kind of like jumping on, and they're really ragging on Deontay Wilder for this quote right here. He said, "He knows that wasn't me." He is Tyson Fury. He said, "He knows that wasn't me. Everyone knows that wasn't me." Wilder said, "We'll show it like I said. There's a time and place for all, and I'll reveal a lot of things, but I'm looking forward to it. Actually," he said, "I can't wait to give the people what they want to see."
Right.
So
it's funny how Wilder, he be revealing things without revealing it. He giving us a clue to stuff, but not the whole thing, just the taste of it. But
and again,
man, that worries me too. That worries me too, because it wasn't his night, but it was definitely Tyson Fury's night. You got to give that man his props, give him his respect, and just take it for what it is, and just realize that this man, Tyson Fury, is dangerous, and you just train like that, and you think like that, and just get ready like that, and fight the next fight, give that man his respect. Let him have the belt. Call him the champion. Go in there, you know what I'm saying, has the, you're the challenger, and take your belt back. I don't know, man. This has been hard hearing this stuff. I ain't gonna lie,
Ryan,
it's been hard.
Let me ask you a question.
What's up?
You're a huge Deontay Wilder fan, right?
Yeah.
If I strapped a polygraph machine on you right now, and I put a gun to your head, and I said, "You gotta tell the truth here," right? And I ask you,
right,
do you think Deontay Wilder is going to win this rematch? What would you say to me right now? And you're a huge Deontay Wilder
fan. Oh man, I lost my 200 on the last one, so I don't know if I would put money on him. I'm a fan, okay?
You're gonna pull for him, like
I'm a pull for him.
Like your heart is saying you want him to win, but mentally, from after everything we just read right there, after knowing everything we know right now, objectively, do you think he's gonna win the fight?
He's still got that. He's still dangerous. He's still dangerous. So you can't never say he's not going to win. You can't believe in your mind that Tyson Fury is just going to win when Wilder is that dangerous. So he's always just got that chance. And people like me, that's probably what they're hoping for is just the chance of his power. You know what I'm saying? And just pretty much just seeing where he went wrong at, fixing his mistakes, and just getting back out there and getting another go at it, run it back, but sometimes to hear too many things that you're saying, as far as excuses, it's kind of taking the focus off what you got to fix. As far as the technical stuff, if you need a jab, double jab, if you need to slip up underneath his jab, go to his body more. If you need to get over whatever angle, you got to be more focused on those things rather than, making excuses, because those are the things he's going to have to correct if he's going to win, because the one thing that I worry about, I ain't going to lie to you. Okay. I'm worried that if these mistakes, or these mishaps he's saying adds up, okay, and then we give it the benefit of the doubt, and then the next fight he gets steamrolled. You know what I'm saying? We'll feel bad, like, oh man, because then everybody, that's Fury fans gonna be like, "What you got to say now? What you got to say now?" Because we giving them the benefit of the doubt, but I just think right now he just don't need to focus on nothing. I know he's probably in shock. He just need to focus on just what he need to do right, to win the next one, or at least, try his best. Everything you gave it everything. Okay. You did your best. You still lost. So what? You know what I'm saying? You still gave it your best, but the last fight, I still don't think that was his best. I don't think that was the best Wilder, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that, because that ain't the same guy I've been seeing. His tenacity, it just wasn't there,
But will his body ever be the same? Because his body has been riddled with injuries. And he's
Yeah.
36 years old. In my mind, his body's starting to break down, in my opinion. So my
Yeah.
question is this: will he ever be able to put it all together, regardless of from a technical standpoint, from a physical standpoint? Will this guy ever be whole again, or whole enough to be a dominant fighter against top level guys like Fury? That's
Yeah.
that's the $1 million question in
Yeah.
my mind. So I'm not gonna press you because I know you're a huge fan. I don't want to
Yeah.
make you say he's gonna
No,
lose.
I mean, I'm gonna be real about it, man. You know, that's the reason why a lot of athletes, as they get older, they learn more skills, more technical skills as they get older, because that's what they start depending on and relying on.
Yeah,
That's in any sport. You know, they start depending on skills. And, you know, that's just something Wilder is gonna have to work on. You know, it's just like Roy Jones at one point in time. Roy Jones got away with a lot of stuff until it caught up to him. You know, Wilder's been getting away. I like what Teddy Atlas say. He said Wilder was getting away with murder. You know what I'm saying? With that power, which, you know, it's carried him a long way. You know, the tools that he do have, we can't sit here and say it hasn't got him far. This dude started boxing late in the game. So that was the one thing he needed. But at this point, if he can't develop those skills, you know, as far as, you know, making everything a little bit easier to score, you know what I'm saying, and box, you know, then oh, it's definitely gonna be uh problematic. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely gonna be that,
well,
you know?
here's the other thing. If you remember Vladimir Klitschko towards the end of his career, he was starting to pull out of fights too because of injuries. He was having issues with his like
Yeah, yeah, you're
ankles
right.
and shit and shoulders and
You're
shit.
right.
And that's when it started like being the beginning of the end for him, I thought. Because even in that Brian Jennings fight, he looked like he was slipping a little bit. And then the
Mm,
fight right after that, when he fought Fury, he lost. So
yeah.
you could tell.
How old was he in those fights right there? How old was he?
I think he was when he fought Fury, I think he was like 39. And then he was like 40,
39?
yeah, like 41 when he fought Joshua. So
Yeah. So let me ask you this: how, like, even though he got these injuries, how much longer, how many more years do you think he has in his career? Because he's what, about 35 right now?
he's gonna be 36 very shortly.
36? Yeah. So how many more years you think he got left?
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, Brian. I know you're not gonna. I know you don't want me to.
I already know what you're gonna say. His next fight. That's it.
He's he's retiring.
Oh
He's
man.
retiring after
Oh
after
no.
Fury beats him. He's retiring, and he
Yeah.
already said as much. He said, "If I lose to Fury in the rematch, I'm retiring." He
Yeah.
already said that. He already said
Mm,
that.
yeah.
So
Oh man, that don't sound good to my ears, but you know,
and
I don't think so. I think he'll be okay, man. I think he still got at least a couple more years. I'll give him a couple more years, you know, before he just retires. I mean, if he do retire after this, you know, that's like disappointing, man. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see it. I don't see it being that much. You know, I think he's still a little young. He younger than me at least. You know, his body can still get through those minor injuries, but it is going downhill from here. I'll be honest.
but Brian, you and I ain't getting punched in the face on a daily basis. So not on a daily basis, but we don't get punched in the face for a living. So
Yeah, yeah.
so that's a different story, man.
But I still think he's got about a couple more years, you know what I'm saying, before he considers it. You know, he hasn't had like no head injuries. He ain't been knocked out, you know, like cold, you know, so I see a couple more years. Even if he loses, let's say he does lose to Fury, you know, he's still got at least a couple more years after that. You know what I'm saying? This
I
year is gone. So next year and probably the year after, you know.
I used to think that maybe he could beat Joshua, but I never thought he could beat Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Now knowing what I know now, listening to him and just him being quiet like this and kind of seeming to be a little bit depressed right now, soul searching, looking deep
Mm-hmm.
into himself right now, and plus you add that to the injuries and his age and everything. I don't I don't think that he may not be able to beat Joshua right now either, in my opinion.
Think so?
I used to think he could beat Joshua possibly. I thought that was a easier fight. That would be a better fight for him on paper, style wise, more so than the Fury fight. But now, knowing what I know now, I think I'd even
But
favor
you know,
over him right now.
I can't disagree with you on none of this stuff right now at this very moment because of the last performance and all this stuff that's going on. So it's not like I can disagree with that because what kind of leverage can I use to debate about that? You know, Tyson Fury won, Joshua's he's still winning, you know, he's talking a gang of shit. Joshua, he's been talking a lot of shit about this lately, you know, talking about how he can beat Wilder all of a sudden, but you know, what can anybody say? I still believe in Wilder. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this dude's just gonna go out like this. You know, that'll be just very disappointing, you know, to be honest.
It's crazy because Eddie Hearn is just so hell bent on like trying to get Wilder to take step aside money and
Oh yeah.
fight somebody else. But
Of course, of course.
but so he can make the AJ Fury fight. But gotta understand one thing: the clock is ticking for Wilder. 36 years old. If the only way if I was Wilder, the only way I would take step aside money is if I was guaranteed the winner in writing of the Fury Joshua fight.
Right, because who knows? You don't know for sure who's going to win that fight right there to guarantee no contract on neither one of them.
I'm betting my house on Fury.
Man, I'm going to have to put some money up. I got you on that one.
You like Joshua over Fury?
Yeah, man. It's the same thing, man. I'll be hopeful. I'll be hopeful enough to put some money on Anthony Joshua. He'll probably be the underdog against Fury, man. Fury's the top dog right now. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
You know. But
Raphael's in the chat and he's saying it's a money grab. It's about money. It's about money. And you know what? No matter what anyone says, it's always about the money.
Everybody's trying to get paid.
Nobody's gonna go in there and take punches round after round.
Yeah.
Fight after fight. Training camp after training camp. No one's gonna put themselves through all that for nothing. You gotta get paid for that.
You gotta get paid, yeah. So he don't believe that Tyson. I think he's just making he's in shock, man. Wilder is in shock. He's trying to give himself all these different reasons so he can feel more secure. He can get some security about himself and some confidence about himself, you know. I don't think it's a money grab. I think he really still believes he can beat Fury. That's one thing I do believe mentally. Okay. He still thinks he can beat Fury, you know, and that's why he's coming up with all this stuff because he still believes he can win. You know, he's like, this happened. Yeah, he had a bad night. That's what he just need to say, you know, but I think still mentally he feels like he can beat Fury. Matter of fact, I think he still feels like he can knock Fury out, you know.
So what would have happened if this coronavirus didn't come about? Would Wilder have gone into that fight in July? Ooh. How could that fight have happened? Because he just got out of surgery now. It's April, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's rehabbing right now. So how would he have been able to train for a July fight? How would that have been possible? That fight would have been postponed, I'm thinking, obviously, right?
Yeah, it had to.
No matter what, that fight was going to get postponed.
Yeah.
Probably till September. But now it looks like this fight.
I mean, was it when they agreed in that July date? I mean, was it like that's what they was discussing. It was almost legitimized or what?
Bob said that he wouldn't have a problem with postponing it to a later date.
Yeah,
But
because it sounded like they was planning on postponing it anyway.
you think so?
Maybe, yeah, if not July, maybe later on. Now they got it. What trying to say is set in October. You know, it probably might be a later date than that. I think they always plan on scrapping that July date. You know, but I mean, even if it's not July, August, man, that's you still need more time. Definitely. Maybe if it would have been in July, maybe it would have been a money grab. Is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
So who do you think is the two people that he's going to bring in to the camp
I
now?
don't know. That's what I've been really, really trying to put my finger around who he would get. Maybe they saying George Foreman, but then every time, a lot of people be like, well, what can George Foreman do? Can he really help him? What do you think about that? You think Foreman can really help Wilder?
You know, George Foreman psychologically is a real positive guy, and
Right.
sometimes it's almost like you need a therapist in there to kind of
Yeah, yeah.
when you're down. Like Wilder's probably down, very down right now, right?
Down and out, yeah.
George Foreman could be that voice of reason for him, that uplifting voice that could get him in a positive state of mind.
Yeah.
So would it help him? Possibly. Would it hurt him? No, it couldn't hurt. And I,
Hmm.
I, I think psychologically it could help him.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
having a guy like Foreman, a legend, even showing interest in you and letting you know that, hey, I'm here to help you. I think that he could be saying to himself, if this guy believes in me, then
Hmm.
there's got to be something left for me there's got to be some sort of light at the end of the tunnel for me if this guy believes in me.
Right.
You
But
know,
right now, I mean, to be honest, like, what about technically? What about technically? You think Foreman can
um,
anything technically give him
yeah,
a formula
yeah, he could teach him to relax. Because if you notice, when Foreman was in the second half of his career, he was a little bit more
or
methodical,
relax?
more
Yeah.
patient. He could probably
Yeah.
try to tell him, we probably sit him down and say, hey, you're a power puncher. That power is always going to be there, but just let
Hmm.
that power flow. Let that power just flow. Don't force it. Just let it happen. Just relax.
Right.
Set that power up. Not every punch got to be a home run.
Home run. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hit a couple singles first, and then once you got the bases loaded, then you then you fucking go for the home run, get the grand slam, right?
Right.
He
Right.
could be talking to him like that. So I have a feeling Buddy McGirt may be one of those guys for some reason. I don't
Yeah.
know why. Buddy McGirt's
Yeah.
always that quicker fixer upper for a lot of guys. I don't think Freddie Roach is going to be there. I don't think it'll be Freddie Roach.
Right.
I can see a guy like Buddy McGirt.
That would be crazy though if it was Freddie Roach, considering Freddie Roach worked Tyson Fury's corner the first fight. That would be. I mean, that would be a consideration, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hire Freddie Roach, but I haven't heard. I've heard about a lot of these trainers that want to train them, but I'm kind of curious to see who he's gonna find, and what they're gonna be able to provide, as far as giving him a technical perspective on beating Tyson Fury.
It's gonna
So we'll
it,
have to see.
it's gonna be real interesting, man. I gotta be honest with you, but yeah, I just think that he's gonna be injury played going forward. I think that aura of invincibility is gone, and I just think that he's gonna have a tall task in front of him in the rematch, and it is what it is, man.
Yeah,
There's not much
yeah,
else there's not much more we can say, man. Anything
right.
else before we anything else? Any closing thoughts here before we shut this down?
Hey, that's it, man. That's
That's
it.
it, right? You're
That's
gonna
it. We
still
said everything.
you're gonna still ride with Wilder.
I'm still riding with him.
Do you have any reservations? Are you concerned at all?
Oh yeah, it's definitely
Concerned,
concerns.
concerned,
Oh
right?
yeah, oh yeah. But I mean, both sides should be concerned. Even if you a Fury fan too, Wilder is still dangerous. Both of these guys are dangerous, man. You know,
Yeah,
you can't say you just 100% confident.
I'm about 99% confident going. I gotta be
Oh
true. I
man.
can't lie, man. I haven't.
Oh man.
I haven't. I
We
haven't.
might have to do like a pie bet. We're gonna have to
Okay,
do a pie bet. We'll do a pie bet. We'll
Ralph.
do that.
Ralph, you want? Why you want in on this, Ralph? You want to come? You want to come in on it? Ralph's like, why are we shutting it down so early? Let me. I'm gonna throw Ralph a link and
Oh,
see.
okay,
Yeah, let
okay.
me throw Ralph a link because he wants. It seems like he wants to talk about this, man.
Right, right.
Let's
He
see.
hate Wilder.
He hates Wilder. Let's see if
He
Ralph
hates
wants.
Wilder. Get
Let's
him
see if
on.
Ralph. Before we shut it down, maybe we'll let Ralph give his little take on this if he wants. He doesn't have to jump in.
Yeah,
See if he
yeah,
jumps.
because he hates
Yeah,
Wilder.
I sent you. I put the link in the chat, Ralph. You can jump in because I know Ralph. Ralph's gonna rip.
Yeah,
Ralph,
yeah. He about to go bananas.
he about to go crazy here.
Let him on.
I'm gonna let him on. I got the link in there, so hopefully he can jump on. You gonna jump on, Ralph? What's up? You getting the laptop ready? I'm surprised on. Oh, here he is. I'm gonna let him in.
All right.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
What's happening, homie?
Bro, that's copyrighted, bro. Come on, come on.
You said that's my shit.
That's my shit.
OMG. OMG. Hey.
What's cracking, homie?
Yeah, what's up? What's up, King Cali? What's up, King Cali? What's up,
What's
B?
up?
Yeah, man. Listen,
I know, man. I know you hate Wilder. No, I know you about
bro.
to.
I don't hate,
Kill me, man.
bro. I don't hate nobody. You know, if I saw him in a bar, I'd buy him a drink. You know what I'm saying? I'd pull up a stool for him.
You wouldn't spike it. You wouldn't spike it. You wouldn't spike it.
I wouldn't spike it. I wouldn't spike it. You know. My issue with Wilder is simply down to his evasion of Joshua. Wilder's been. Let's not mess around. Let's get straight to it. Wilder's been messing around fighting low-ranked opponents for the whole of his damn career. And he thought he could do that and get away with it. He thought he could do that and get away with it. Look, pull up his resume. Pull up his resume and look at where the guys were ranked when he fought them. You know what I'm saying? They were low-ranked guys. And I think even as a champion, he was still fighting lower-tier fighters. And I can't forgive that. Can't overlook that. You know, I did a show last night and we looked at the likes of Joe Louis. We looked at the likes of Muhammad Ali. And they were fighting killers. Killer after killer after.
I mean, if you comparing that era to this era, it's not the same thing whatsoever. It's only about like maybe a handful of guys to even, you know, say you fought somebody on your resume. It's literally only a handful of guys in there.
And he didn't fight them. He didn't fight them. He didn't fight the best guys when he could have fought them, you know? And yeah, I mean, that cannot be overlooked.
I mean,
the first time.
What about Ortiz? Ortiz.
Oh, come on, bro. Who did Ortiz ever beat? Come on, bro. Who's Ortiz's best win?
He beat Brian Jennings, right? Because if you say somebody else's resume, you'll give them Brian Jennings on their resume, but you're not going to give Ortiz that win right there over Brian Jennings.
Brian Jennings.
Tough Philly fighter, right?
Sorry?
He's a tough fighter. He fought Klitschko, didn't he?
He got beat. He's Brian Jennings, to be fair, he's been beat by some real good guys. You know, you got to give him.
I mean, he's definitely he's worked his way up. You know, he was a challenger, so
he's been a good workhorse over the years, but he's never really been a guy that you would say was a top ranked fighter. Not Brian Jennings. He's in between top 10 and 20. He's between 10 and 20. And so, you know, that's Louis.
But I'm saying with Klitschko beating him, they give that win to Klitschko, has a good win, but they don't give it to Ortiz.
I would never say when you look at Klitschko's resume, you would bring up Bryant Jennings.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. The bottom line for me is that when we look back, when Deontay Wilder retires, and we look back at his resume, would you going to say it's impressive? Is Deontay Wilder's resume impressive?
I'm not too impressed with none of these guys' resume as a whole, to be honest.
Well, no, I mean, let's say
only because this is a different type of era of boxers, especially with this heavyweight. Nobody's really like a great, it's some good fighters. It's no great, it's nobody that's too great, on the resumes. Anybody. Yeah. They only got like, I think each heavyweight, let's say Tyson Fury, Joshua, and Wilder. I mean, these guys only got like one or two dudes, that's it. Somebody that's legit, they only got maybe one or two. Joshua beat Klitschko. Unless you want to give him Ruiz, you want to give him Ruiz too?
You got to give him Ruiz. Who was he beat?
Right. But I mean, in the beginning when Joshua was fighting Ruiz, it was like this was supposed to be I mean, even if you look at the odds of that fight, that wasn't like a 50-50 fight ever. You know what I'm saying? But, Ruiz is tough.
I don't know if Beeb remembers, but I was saying it was a tough fight. The Ruiz fight was a tough fight. I don't know if Beeb remembers that.
No, you did. You did.
First one. Yeah.
But I mean, Ruiz definitely caught a lot of people off guard with that win. That's for sure. And he caught me off guard with it. I'm being honest. But, I mean, man, but then look at Ruiz, his next performance, and we haven't seen Ruiz since.
But Ralph, we got to be honest though.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect. I got to give you full props on that. You did say it was going to be a tougher fight than people are giving it credit for. You did say it. I remember that.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was a 20-1 underdog, man.
Yeah, I should have put money on it.
We can't, but again, I give AJ full credit for what he did in the rematch. I give AJ full credit for his, for what he said after the first fight. He didn't make any excuses. He took his loss like a man, better than anyone could have ever taken a loss. That's the best I've ever seen anyone take a loss in my 50 years on this planet. You know what I'm saying? I get more mad than AJ did losing a game of Yahtzee than he did losing.
Right.
I get more mad losing a game of friggin' 500 rummy. You know what I'm saying? Gin.
Yeah.
This guy took it like a man. Took his loss like a man.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: he did well in the rematch. He probably won the fight, bare minimum 10 rounds to 2, maybe 11-1. Okay, regardless if you like how he did it or not, the scorecards don't lie. It was a pure domination in the rematch. But given that, does that wash away all the sins of the first fight? Does anything from the first fight? Is there any residual effect from that fight? Because the writing was on the wall a little bit, because there was a little bit of shakiness in the Parker fight. There was a lot of shakiness in the Povetkin fight where he got hurt.
When he got rocked.
I had him losing that fight up until the time before of the stoppage where he actually stopped Povetkin.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you're asking about residual damage from the KO, from the TKO.
Yeah. Is there any residual damage? And is the defense and all the weaknesses corrected? Yeah. Will they show up again? Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, he's a better fighter now than he was before when he was undisputed. I mean, when he was unbeaten.
Okay.
He's a better fighter now. Look at all the greats. All the greats took a loss.
Yeah.
And the really great came back from it.
So you're thinking that Ruiz didn't really put a blueprint forth. That was more of Joshua beating himself than Ruiz beating him. Is that a fair assessment?
We don't know what happened, but we all know that he didn't look right even before the first bell.
Yeah.
We all know that. And we know that Deontay Wilder didn't look right even before the first bell. But one guy came back, and it remains to be seen how Wilder is going to come back, or does he come back? How does he come back?
So there's a lot of parallels here when you compare this fight to Joshua's fight with Ruiz, somewhat, because at least Joshua did win rounds against Ruiz.
Yeah.
He did knock Ruiz down. So I don't think there's a question that Joshua was more competitive in his loss to Ruiz than Wilder was in his loss to Fury.
Yeah.
Now, I think the difference here is Wilder's body's been breaking down for a while now. Wilder is older now. Wilder doesn't really have a plan B. Now, he did box in the Stavern fight, but we haven't seen him do that in a long time. And even still, that was more of an aggressive type of performance from Wilder. The reason why I think he didn't stop Stavern is because he hurt his hand in that fight. But he was trying to go for the knockout. So it wasn't like he was trying to put on a masterclass boxing performance in that fight. So I think we can argue that maybe Joshua is more versatile. He has he's the more rounded skill. He has the more rounded skills. I think he has more tools in the toolbox, so to speak. So I think he has more to go to than maybe Wilder does. So is that the big difference here?
He's a better rounded fighter. I mean, Wilder now his game has been devolving. His game has been devolving. It's been shrinking down. He's using less tools. He's been relying on the big right hand. And let's face it, there was always the argument that Wilder can't fight going backwards. And in this fight, that argument was strengthened, dramatically strengthened. So the man
we got to give Tyson Fury his credit, though. This dude is a monster, man. He might do the same thing to Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, but that remains to be seen, though. That we can only speak on what we see, and what we've seen is that what many have suspected is that Deontay Wilder cannot fight backwards.
Right. I mean, regardless, Anthony Joshua still has lost, and and the thing is like you saying he's a better fighter, but mentally, he didn't have that same confidence that second fight to go out there and just go head up with Ruiz. He used his boxing ability, which I'll give him his props, but he's not the monster, that he was before he fought Ruiz, is what I'm saying.
Well, the first time, can you remember the first time you fell off a push bike?
Right.
If you remember I remember the first time I fell off a push bike because I was going at some speed, and it hurt. So when I went back on the push bike, you damn well know I was way more conservative and way more sensible.
Right. But see, boxing is different because when you get knocked out or you catch something like that, I mean, all that takes effect. You know what I'm saying? Even getting a concussion in boxing, that still takes effect. So to say he's the same fighter or a better fighter and that didn't have no kind of effect, you might be wrong on that one. It has some kind of effect, and he was smart enough to stay away from engaging with Ruiz, So it has some kind of effect as far as what Ruiz did to him.
Well, it had an effect. It had an effect because it made him more sensible, didn't it? He's come back more sensible, and then that was the first. Remember, this is only one fight back. We've seen him once since the TKO. So obviously, as things go on, then
I mean, we also got to factor in. I mean, am I wrong, Bieber? Do we got to at least somewhat factor in the fact that Ruiz obviously did not train? Obviously he didn't train. I'm not trying to make no excuse for Ruiz because he should have trained, but it's obvious he didn't train like how he was supposed to, and you heard his coach. So, you got to count that too. You know what I'm saying?
I would have loved to have seen that Ruiz that was in the first fight.
First fight, that would have been a whole different story. I mean, it's not that it's AJ's fault. He went out there and did what he was supposed to do, but Ruiz didn't do what he was supposed to do. So it kind of takes away You know, even if, let me tell you like this, if Wilder beats Fury, right, and Fury is just out of shape, he goes out there, you know, he ain't trained. I mean, even if Wilder beats him, me as a Wilder fan, it won't have the same effect like if Fury's at his best. You know what I'm saying? I hope Fury comes in at his best. The next fight, Wilder come in at his best. So neither one of them, you know, can say anything. Whoever wins, wins. You ain't got no excuses. But Ruiz definitely was not at his best. You know what I'm saying? He was.
Why was Ruiz not at his best?
I mean, you didn't hear his trainer saying he wasn't training, and yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not making excuses, you know, I'm just being honest. He wasn't at his best.
No, I'm asking you from a psychological point of view. Why do you think Ruiz wasn't at his best? Why? Yeah,
he didn't train. Right. He didn't train he wasn't ready.
I think sometimes when you achieve something and you get to that top of the mountain, because Tyson Fury had said the same thing. He said, once I won the heavyweight title, there was nothing else there for me. Like, I reached the pinnacle, and everything else was like a letdown for me. So, you know, sometimes someone will accomplish a goal, and then they just then it's like that. I've completed the mission. There's nothing else for me to do.
So it takes a special kind of person to keep going and going and going. Is that fair?
100%. And it's like what Marvin Hagler said. It's hard to wake up every morning and do road work when you're waking up in satin sheets every morning.
Silk,
silk, or satin, whatever.
Yeah.
Silk, bro.
Hey, that's why, man, no matter what, people got to give Mayweather his respect, because this dude didn't have not one bad night, not even one.
Mayweather,
you know what I'm saying?
Mayweather used to wake up in the middle of the night, and this is him saying this, in a cold sweat because he had a dream that he lost. And then he'd go out and do road work like at 3:00 in the morning.
Right.
And that's just what he used to do.
Yeah, because that's the reason why he didn't lose. He trained the same exact way for every single fight. You know, Ruiz won, and he didn't train, man. He felt like he reached the mountaintop. You know what I'm saying? I guess.
So what I'm saying is that out of the top three, we have Fury. No, we have Wilder, who won for 5 years, but very, very questionable resume. That's one. Then we have Fury, who beat Vladimir Klitschko. Fair enough. Give him his props. And then retired. Well, he had to retire because UCAD were coming after him for the steroids and the cocaine. Okay. And then we have, who's the other champion in this time? Okay. Then we have Andy Ruiz. He won one fight and started splurging. You know, didn't stop thinking about boxing. And that only leaves us with Anthony Joshua, who has been winning acclaimed opponents time after time after time after time.
Except for when he lost to a massive underdog and got knocked out.
He got TKO'd, but you know what, Kelly? You know what, Kelly?
He got beat up. Wilder got beat up too. Hey, man, look. Hey, man. Wilder looked the same way getting beat up, okay? I admit it.
Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. Anthony Joshua lost, made zero excuses, and then came back and avenged his victory.
Right. I'll give him that.
None of these cats out here have done what Anthony Joshua did.
Right. But still, you can't take away from, you know, I can watch it on YouTube right now, him getting boo-bop upside the head in that first fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
happens, you can't take that away, man. It happens.
This is boxing, bro. This is boxing. You got to take a beating sometime. You have to take a beating.
Right.
Nobody escapes from boxing without taking a beating.
Yeah.
And, you know,
but
somebody's going to say,
I just think, man, you know, this whole heavyweight division just got to sort itself out. You know, right now, to me, Fury is the dude, man. I know you probably going to say Anthony Joshua, but Fury is number one right now.
Fury is the favorite when he goes in against Anthony Joshua.
Right.
So let's not get that mixed up or twisted. Fury is the favorite when he goes in against Wilder. Fury is the favorite when he goes in against Anthony Joshua. Fury is the man right now, even though he's only got one belt. Or okay, the lineal, okay, fair enough. But even though he's only got one recognized belt, officiating body belt, Fury is the man right
You're the
now.
man. Look at Beeb over there smiling.
Yeah,
That's
man,
your dude. That's your dude, man. Hey, man, your dude is number one.
He's got the wild boar meat belt too.
He's got the wild boar meat belt. You know, he should have paid the farmer. That's his fault. That's what happens when you're cheap. Pay the farmer is 15 grand. Was he 15?
Hey, but look,
25,
man.
25.
Hey, look, but we got to be honest, man. With my dude Wilder, your dude AJ, your dude Fury. These three guys have brought boxing back. You know what I'm saying? Everybody talking about boxing because of these guys, man.
I disagree. Let's go into it again. Let's go further. What did Fury do when he won? He got the hell out of there. He didn't stick around.
Yeah, man.
He didn't have no staying power. He didn't have the fortitude to stick around.
Fury never even defended his title, man.
He never defended his title. I don't recognize no champ who's never defended that title successfully.
That's true.
As much as I love Fury, man, I can't rewrite history for him.
I can't.
Right.
I don't proclaim anybody a champion who never defended the championship.
I can't rewrite history for Fury, man. What happened? What happened?
But as of right now, today,
he's the man. Yeah.
Okay. Everybody talking about Fury, Wilder, and I don't know, Anthony Joshua. They're not talking about him as much, to be honest with you.
No, they're not.
Not right now because of the fight that just happened. But these three guys is the top. They still at the top regardless. You know what I'm saying? And they just got to sort everything out in that heavyweight division at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, I'll say Fury is the best. Until he fight Wilder again. And eventually Fury and AJ gonna fight. Maybe it might be Wilder and AJ, but we'll see when it's all said and done. You know what I'm saying?
We shall see. But just to finish off my point, Fury won and then he got the hell out of Dodge. I can't give him no props for that.
Right.
That
is true.
I can give props for Wilder for fighting fight after fight after fight. But he's under the PBC protection programs. That they look after their guys. They don't put them with people they think are too dangerous. So that's the Al Heyman model. I don't think anybody could dispute that seriously. So Joshua is the one who's been fighting consistent.
But wait a minute, man. Let's backtrack for just a second before you start putting them down, man. Because when he fought Stavern, Wilder, was he a favorite to beat Stavern? I'm not sure what the odds.
No, Stavern was
his first top 10 win.
Stavern, so that means that he had
favorite, man. Stavern was favorite.
So that means he fought. He was the underdog in that fight, but he won. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you, man. The thing about Wilder is everybody be saying he fights bums, right?
Yeah.
Taxi drivers and all this and that. This dude started off one of them type of dudes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Delivering beer. You feel me? So. He's done a lot for boxing. You know what I'm saying? He's done a lot for boxing, and that's why I like him. He brought it back. People talking about it. That's why I like AJ. That's why I like Fury, even though Fury fell off, but he's back. You know what I'm saying? As today, he's back. These three guys are the talk of the town, man. You know what I'm saying?
I have to come in there, for in the early part of Wilder's reign. I'm speaking as a UK guy now. We didn't hear about him. We didn't hear nothing about him because he wasn't having fights that stimulated the imagination. So over here in Europe, we wasn't hearing nothing about Wilder because he wasn't having worthy fights.
Same thing with AJ too over here though, because the only people that really knew about AJ was you had to be hardcore boxing fans and keep up with what's going on to know, okay, because I would have to show people, hey man, this dude ain't no joke, man. I would have to show people, tell people about AJ, you know. But you know, they all still building, you know, but you know, that's why I say
about to retire, bro. Your boy Wilder's about to retire. I don't know if he's building and retiring at the same time, either building or retiring.
Yeah, he's not gonna retire, man. He still got time on his hands. Man. Don't agree with him, man. He still got some time on his hands, man. Let me tell you, man.
Bro, he's trying to pick out his retirement home as we speak.
Nah, he ain't retiring, man. I wouldn't count Wilder out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna count him out.
I think he's cashing in the 401k, bro.
Cashing it in there.
Whatever. I'm not gonna count him out, man. I'm not gonna count him out. I feel like he knows he can still win. You know,
his body breaks down after every fight. He goes into surgery.
Let me ask you guys. But let me ask you guys. I got a good question. Okay. Let's say a hypothetical. Okay. What if Wilder beats Fury? Okay, because we ain't talked about this. Where does that put Wilder at then if he defeats Fury?
What's the question? Sorry.
Where can we put Wilder at? Let's say if Wilder beats Fury.
Yeah.
Where will we say Wilder is at then?
Well,
back in the mix.
He's back in the mix. That's the best answer.
I mean, is he back in the mix or is he like that dude? Well,
he turned down the Joshua fight, so you know he can't be the dude. He can't be the dude.
Well, there's gonna be a strong argument that he may be the dude because people are saying Fury's the dude right now.
Right now, that's what I'm. You see how they like to change the shit up, okay? Because
I ain't changing nothing. I ain't changing.
At first, it was the number.
Man, I'm telling you.
I know. I can tell. You know,
Ralph was driving by. If Ralph was in one car, Wilder was in another car, and they were crossing paths. Ralph would be like, boy, he give him the fucking finger like this. Ralph knows he don't like him. You don't want to say it. You don't want to say it. You don't like him.
Yeah. He don't like him. Yeah, he don't like him on the video and on the chats, but you know, he probably would want a picture with Wilder he ever seen.
No. I'm not groupie. I ain't no kind of groupie. Never yet. Never have been. Never.
You're a groupie.
Never have been. Never will be.
Ralph, let me ask you an honest question, Ralph.
Yeah.
If Deontay Wilder was hanging off a cliff, and you were on the top of that cliff, would you extend your hand to pull him back up? Yes or no?
Listen, the man's been in misery for some years.
He's thinking about it. He can't even say yes or no.
The man's been in misery for some years now. The man's been in misery for some years now. You know, I'm gonna have to do my my humanitarian thing.
I just let Hamid on, and I hope his connection is good. What's up, Hamid? What do you got to say, brother?
What you got to say, Hamid?
How's it going?
How's it going, guys? What's up? How's
it going?
Yeah. I was just listening to you guys talking. You were talking about Wilder. I was thinking. I think someone was saying what happens if he beats Fury in the third fight. I think that will definitely redeem himself, but at the moment, it's quite hard to defend the guy. The amount of excuses and stuff like that have come out. I have heard from people that I respect that there is a possibility he might have had some sort of problem with his legs before the second fight, the rematch. But the way he went about it wasn't, I think, classy. Like comparing to how some of the other fighters who have lost recently, I do think that. Now looking back, I think he should have maybe thought about some of the stuff that he said, definitely. Because, if he loses that third fight, I really don't know where he goes. I think that could be his probably retirement fight. I personally don't think he should take the third fight immediately. But with this coronavirus thing, we don't know how long that fight could get pushed back. So it might be the right idea, because if the fight's not until October, November, then he'll have a longer time to maybe reset and work on his mistakes. But I thought initially July was way too early. I thought that was the date they were talking about. But I still don't think it's a right idea because in those two fights, I just think Fury's got his number. But I mean, where else does he go? That's the question that I was also thinking. Like, otherwise, he's gonna have to go back in line, and I don't know if he could get himself up for fighting guys like Charles Martin or I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's the right option to just take that third fight with Fury?
I mean, I think he would still have options even if he didn't take the fight. There's still some guys down there he could fight. Like I wouldn't mind seeing Wilder against Dillian White. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fight for that spot. You know, that's a good matchup. Wilder versus Ruiz. They still got some matchups that they could do, you know, but I'm telling you, Wilder probably still feel like he can win, you know, but I gotta agree with you guys because if he's not looking at what he did wrong and try to correct those mistakes, it's gonna be the same thing or even worse. I'll be straight up, you know.
He could end any fight with one punch, so I don't think anyone can rule the guy out. It's
I
just
think that's. I think
Yeah,
that.
you
I don't
can.
believe that, Hamid. I don't believe that he can end any fight with one punch. He can end any
oh,
fight. He can
this
end
year,
any
I
fight
mean,
with the competition he's been having with one fight, but he couldn't. He couldn't end. He struggled against Ortiz, and
what
He
about the
knocked
12th round in
Ortiz
the first
out.
fight?
he
He
struggled against.
knocked
He
he
struggled.
knocked Ortiz out. He knocked Fury out.
He,
You don't remember that?
He
He
did.
knocked
He
him
knocked
down.
him down.
He
If
knocked
that was
him
anyone
down.
else,
Okay, he knocked him down, but he did it twice. So it's not like
and he got
I
back up.
mean,
He got back up. Wilder's
Get him
power
out
is
of there, though. We're
overrated.
gonna get him out of there, baby.
Wilder's power
right,
is overrated.
I
right,
don't know about that.
okay.
I think the era might. I think in this era you could say that. I mean, you could say that with a different era, but right now, I mean, let's look at it this way. If that right hand landed on any other heavyweight in that 12th round, I'm not sure, but 99.99% of the guys would not get up. Fury showed that he's a freak of nature. On the other hand,
He
I
got
know
dropped
that
by
first fight
Cummings
Fury
though. He
was
got dropped by
50.
Cummings.
I don't know. No, but that doesn't always work. In case Klitschko couldn't put him down. I mean, look at some of the guys the guy that Wilder got put down by as well. Like, I do. Sometimes guys fight different fights. Sometimes guys develop a lot slower than other guys. This is what I was trying to say. That first fight, we know Fury is about 50 or 60, 70%, whatever, of his best. But still, he fought a good 5, 11 rounds. In that 12th round, a lot of guys may have stopped that fight. If we just talk about power, the right hand, if it lands on Fury in the third fight, it could knock him out. In the second fight, the one right hand that Fury, I think, got hit by, Fury said after the fight as well, like he felt it. So I just think you're going to need more than that right hand against someone like Fury. But
Yeah.
Fury will have to be on his obviously A game, but he can obviously end any fight right now in the division because I don't see anyone in that division outside Fury that really, could negate that right hand against any other guy. I obviously give him a puncher's chance, a big puncher's chance. Even against Fury, showed in that first fight.
Can he throw the right hand when he's going backwards?
No, that's the thing. Then obviously
So
he
you
needs
push him
another
back.
game
Once
plan.
you push him back, he negates the
Yeah,
right
he
hand.
needs another game plan. You can't. I said that after the Ortiz rematch. You can't rely on getting away with this because at some point, let's real. Fury is clearly the most skillful guy in the division. And I was saying, if he runs into a Fury at his best, then obviously that'll be a guy who'll make him find out like he did to Klitschko. And the thing with Klitschko, at least Klitschko did have some sort of element of other game plan in his arsenal. I know on the night against Fury, Fury made him look really bad and he looked horrible. But like I was just saying, throughout Klitschko's career, Klitschko did show some sort of versatility with Wilder. He'll have to show if he could adapt because I heard he might be working with someone like George Foreman. Maybe that might be maybe
I
a good
doubt it.
idea.
I doubt
I'm not sure.
he
I think
works.
it's too late, personally.
I doubt he works with George Foreman or any, because he's spoken about George Foreman, but I doubt it's going to be George. I think the Wilder's right hand is overrated. He's demonstrated it against people
What do you mean by overrated, though? I don't know.
I don't get that neither because I'm
let me
like the
explain.
dude knocked out
Let me
a
explain.
grip of dude.
I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay, so
You're
he's
mixing
got,
resume with
hold
power.
on. He's got a big right hand against average guys, but when he came up against somebody who put him on his back foot, the right hand was nowhere to be found. What I'm saying is that Deontay Wilder has no right hand when you push him
Yeah,
back.
but man,
But he
Ralphie,
didn't
look,
land
man,
though.
Ralphie, you can't take away the fact of who beat him. He got beat. He got exposed from Tyson Fury, the biggest heavyweight, the longest heavyweight that can do this. You know what I'm saying? You got to give Tyson Fury his props. This
Well,
dude is good, man. It's not the fact that Wilder is bad. It's the fact that Fury is good.
Yeah,
Am I right, B?
Yeah, but
Bees, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. This is the thing, and I've said this before. When you say somebody's overrated, that doesn't mean that they're a bad fighter. That doesn't even mean that they're not very good or even great.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: Wilder is definitely a top 5 guy.
Yeah,
he's proved that. There's no question about that. But he may not be as good as some people thought he was.
That's fair.
that's what I'm
You know
saying.
what I'm saying? So, for instance, let me just use an example. If I have if I'm a B plus student, I have like a 3.2 grade point average, but I put on my resume that I got a 4.0. A 3.2 is still good. That means I'm still good, but I'm not a 4.0. So I'm overrating myself. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
but who's overrating Wilder? I've never heard nobody give him good ratings. Like, how is he overrated? You know what I'm saying? They
man,
always, they never.
All you gotta do.
Where is he overrated at?
Your king is
check
here.
out some of these YouTube channels.
Fine spirits.
Check out some of these YouTube channels on here.
I am your king.
And listen to what these guys were saying about.
I am your king. King.
I mean, like when you say rated, what are you rating him? What are you using to rate him? Like, who are you comparing him to? Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali? Because he definitely ain't on that level.
I always thought this is how much I gave. I held Tyson Fury in high regard. I even said that even a 75% Tyson Fury would beat Deontay Wilder. I said it. And that was no disrespect to Wilder. That was just how much credit that I gave Tyson Fury. But that doesn't mean that Wilder's not a good fighter. Yo, we got a new guy in here. How do you pronounce that? Dej.
Yeah, it's a Dej. It's Dej.
Dej? Are you a UK guy?
Yeah, I'm a UK guy.
The whole friggin'
wow, this tight, man. We're tight.
Outnumbered. We're outnumbered here. We got the whole Union Jack squad in here right now.
Oh no!
Right, let them in.
Well, interesting topic about how people rate Deontay Wilder, but you know, it's a difficult one because without him being really tested against the other heavyweights, how can you actually rate him? It's a really difficult one. I don't think there's any shame in losing to Fury twice, to be honest, because he's that good of a fighter. But can you discredit everything that Wilder's done so far? I think it's pretty harsh if you do.
No, I wouldn't. Ralph is though.
No. I wouldn't do that. What I say is that.
Can I say?
Hold on, H. What I'm saying is that. H gets a bit excited. What I'm saying is that with the opponents that he's fought, his knockout reputation is based on the opponents that he's fought, and he hasn't been fighting the higher echelon guys consistently. So I'm not saying that he doesn't have a stiff punch. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when you test him up in the top 5, solid top 5 guys, I'm saying the equation may alter somewhat. Well, we've seen the equation.
You did say he's overrated on his power. You know what I'm saying? But
I disagree.
I did say that.
Ralph, why don't we just say this?
Yeah.
Why don't we say it may not be as good as we thought?
I'll go with that.
Let's see if he could not like Okay, he didn't knock Fury out. Fury's the only guy that he really couldn't knock out with his power, right?
Yeah.
So what if he fought Joshua and he was able to knock Joshua out? Would that validate his power somewhat or no?
That would validate.
That's a good point.
That would validate his power somewhat. But what if he fought Joshua and Joshua knocked him out though? We got to look at both sides.
That would same thing. Same thing.
Is it fair to say that Wilder is a harder puncher than Joshua?
How can we establish that? How can we establish that, Beep?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I'm saying no, it ain't fair because we can't establish that because that's
what I'm saying. That may not be able to be established.
But Ralphie, look, man, look. Yeah. You got to be honest, man. Let's look at somebody like Floyd Mayweather. Okay, he was extremely skilled, extremely defensive. Yeah. You know, but it's not easy to knock dudes out. Period. It's not easy to do that, man. You know, and to do it time and time and time and time again. By you saying that is like saying it's an accident. You know, to do something like that, it's not no accident, man. That's a skill that he has learned how to do, was to knock somebody out. The problem is that when you run into a fighter like Tyson Fury, this dude is an animal, man. He's a beast. Then you see him lick his blood off his neck. This dude is 5150. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't dip the tongue. He was fake. He's just
let me get in on that, just in the back of that, because I think in the DNA of a heavyweight fighter should be knockout ability. The idea that you could be in a fight with your back against the ropes, and then just like Chisora attack him, you should be able to pull it out of the bag based off one big powerful punch and be able to turn the fight. So a good heavyweight fighter should have good knockout ability in their DNA, I think. Good defense, good offense. I think it's really important. So when we talk about underrating or asking how good Wilder is, when we look at the top finishers in the heavyweight game, can we actually name a guy who finishes guys which are in trouble better than Wilder? It's hard.
I'll say this. This is a very good example, and I said this before. David Lemieux and Golovkin, very good example. Golovkin obviously beat him, got a much better resume. If you just look at power, Lemieux might be arguably one of the biggest punchers. If you just see what he did to Curtis Stevens, and you see how Golovkin's power in parallel with what he was doing to Stevens, is no question. If you just go by a fight like that, or just see how he's knocked some of the other guys out, Lemieux's a bigger puncher. But that don't necessarily mean that he's a better fighter. And you could argue that Lemieux might have been overrated as well by some people. On the flip side, you could say that about Wilder. Resume and power are not the same thing. Wilder obviously we'll never know how good he was if he ends up losing to Fury and doesn't fight guys like Dillian White, Joseph Parker, the list goes on and on. All those guys perfect. But if he lands on a lot of these guys, I'm pretty sure he would knock a lot of these guys out. Outside.
But here's the thing. I think the key word there is if. Because
obviously.
Because he loses a lot of rounds, and Ralph makes a good point. He got in there when he did get in there with someone who could nullify the power in terms of being able to defend against it and being a moving target, and a guy who had really good defense. What else is there for him? Like, at least with Josh.
Is there anyone better?
Yeah, but hey, man, look, remember, there's only one Tyson Fury. There's only one, man. There's only one Tyson Fury. This guy, what's his reach, B? What is his reach?
Like 83.
Yeah.
Okay. How tall is this guy?
6'9".
This guy is, matter of fact, answer this. Has there been a bigger heavyweight champion than Tyson Fury?
Nikolai Valuev.
Yeah, he wasn't that good, though. You'd probably go to Vitaly Klitschko, maybe.
Okay, so can we all agree that Tyson Fury is a different kind of an animal, man? Just in general.
That's what I was trying to say. I don't know if there's anyone better than Fury.
But can we agree?
This guy is a different animal.
But can we also agree that Tyson? Damn.
This is
Hold
the
on,
one.
I'm a man, EJ in there, man.
let me get this off first, EJ.
EJ, what's happening?
Can
What's
we
going on?
all agree? Yes. Can we all agree that that Deontay Wilder got dropped by a body shot by Mr. Pillow Hands, Pillow Fist?
No, man, nah. He tripped over his foot. He tripped over Tyson Fury's feet.
EJ, who's the other guy? Who's
He
the
never
other guy
tripped.
that's waiting? EJ, who's the other guy in the back? I can't see him.
Well, there's another guy in there. What's his name? But you have to put someone out and put someone in for that.
No, but who was the other guy? That there's two there's two more people waiting.
Yeah, bro. Everyone's watching. I tell you what. I just want to say my piece. Yeah, big up to everyone on this thing. Hey, Beeb and Ralphie. Hey, listen. When we talk on the inbox on Twitter, I'm glad we're getting it done. But let me add to the conversation. So, this is what was been said. Rafi said that Wilder's power is what did you say, Rafi?
Overrated.
All right, so overrated. Every man that Wilder's face has hit the deck, has been on the ground. Is that a fact? It's a fact.
True.
Every man. So if every man you faced, including Fury, everyone Fury's what you say the number one twice on the canvas. No one's ever done that to Fury other than Steve Cunningham. You couldn't say the power was overrated. The problem is what you're trying to say. So now we're trying to say he's put every man on the canvas, but his power's overrated because he didn't finish the job. Hold on a minute. Let's look at the last knockdown Wilder did to Fury. How long was Fury on the canvas for? Arguably, some people say he didn't make the count. So you could say at that point, depending on who was referee, let's say he changed the referee around. When he hit the canvas and he was laying there for that, some referees would have waved it off. But obviously, Jack Reese let it on. So at that point, right, he knocked Fury out like no one else. And Fury recognized that this guy's got power, came in with a whole new different strategy to deal with Wilder because that's how dangerous it is. He said, we couldn't fight him on the back foot. I got to go for him. Because if I go on the back foot, this guy's going to get confident. So Fury changed his strategy. Wilder didn't. Wilder's power is 100% legit. He's dangerous because you can only go by you can only go by the percentage that every man he's there faced, put him down. He's the only man yet to put the reigning, undisputed champion beat Vladimir Klitschko on the canvas. No one else has did that. So you could never say the guy's on. If you're talking about strategy on the back foot, but that's because Fury changed his strategy. So that's all I had to say about it. But you guys continue the conversation. I'll jump out and someone else jumps in. Go ahead. Go ahead. Thanks for letting me come on.
So in response to that, EJ, how you doing, my friend? In response to that, what I'm saying is that he's knocked out guys. He's knocked out guys. Yeah, he's knocked out guys.
I got PhD in here. He's gonna
let him go. Let him go. Let him fight.
He's gonna light this place up.
Fight doctor in the building. What's happening, homie?
Let him go.
Go ahead, fight doctor. Unmute yourself.
Fight doctor.
If you can. He's
Unmute yourself, fight doctor.
There's operation about to begin. Let the operation begin.
Fight doctor in or what?
Let him go. Unmute yourself, fight doctor.
He's muted. He's muted.
He's stuck.
Maybe he stepped away.
He's button stuck.
All right, let me make my point about this Tyson Fury while everyone's giving Wilder so much credit, because I think it needs to be said, because like a lot of us here have been watching boxing for a very long time. I assume. So I believe if you fight enough people there around the top 10, you will lose. And I think it was brave for Tony Weeks to let the Wallin fight go on as long as he did. I mean, how many people watched that fight weren't on the edge of their feet thinking Tyson Fury could have lost that fight? No, legit.
It's a bad cut, but it's a bad cut. But I mean,
but
you could argue it's maybe the right decision as well. I get what you're saying. That's
what I'm saying. Were you not on the edge of your seat watching the Wallin fight, thinking Fury could have lost it all?
That's why he got rid of his coach. I think that was one of the reasons. The game plan in that fight wasn't good. Fury wanted to go forward. His coach was telling him to stay on the back foot. That's how he got cut on alongside Wallin being a southpaw and being a tricky operator.
All right, so let me put that back.
When people talk about resume and stuff like that, the thing with power, I think it's two different things. Like, I think if you're comparing him to George Foreman and Mike Tyson, then you obviously say he's overrated by some of the media, some of his fanboys. But if you just want to keep it objective, I think the guy obviously is arguably the biggest power puncher in the division. I mean, there is a good case you can make that the guy obviously he's got the highest, I think, knockout ratio. At the flip side, you could say a lot of the guys he's knocked out weren't that good, but one punch power, I don't think there's a bigger puncher in the division at the moment, and he's obviously a top-rated fighter as well. But he'll be judged. He'll be judged with his resume, and I don't think his resume is that good.
No, granted, Hamid, but here's my point about the whole thing, because we're talking about Wilder being underrated. For me, when we look at it,
I don't know if anyone said no. They said overrated.
Well, we're talking about how good Wilder was in the first place. Okay. All right. Okay. So, granted, my point is, if we look at the heavyweight division now, for me, the only tried and tested heavyweight out there is Joshua. When it comes to like fighting top-rated opposition, sort of consistently. Fury's really been inconsistent, to be honest.
I thought you were talking about.
Disappeared. He fought Klitschko. He fought Klitschko on the back of, who did he fight before Klitschko? He didn't get the Hay fight. Was it Chisora?
That was his fault. All right, you mean?
All right, okay. We can talk about fault.
Christian Hammer.
We can talk about fault, but when he comes back in the game and we look at the rebuild, okay, there was nothing.
Wilder, the guy that Joshua didn't fight, whoever's fault that was, he still fought that guy. And
whoever's fault that was, when
I'm saying those two,
when Fury came for the rebuild to actually prove that he was the number one guy, he didn't fight anyone within that top 10. Granted,
he didn't have to.
Fury,
he had 2 years off. Why would you do that? The guy, look, we've seen what Ricky Hatton tried doing and he got knocked out. The guy had about 3 years out the game, whatever it was his fault, whatever. At the same time, he ballooned up to about 350 pounds. You have to come in at the right strategy. I thought taking the Wilder fight was a bit too early. I thought they should have had at least one or maybe two more fights. Obviously, they had to take the opportunity. And it paid off for 11 rounds. He was outboxing Wilder, but we clearly seen in the rematch that wasn't Fury anywhere near 100%. In that rematch, you could say he was as good as he was against Klitschko, maybe arguably better or whatever. It's hard to say because I think Klitschko is better.
Okay.
Although Fury did stop Wilder and eventually won every round.
I totally agree with what you're saying, Hamid. But could you also agree, though, from Team Wilder's looking at the scenario, at the landscape, that was a cherry pick?
Oh no! I don't.
From the back of Fury beating Northern Ireland to go in 10 rounds.
I don't think so. Because if this was, let me say this, okay? Because a lot of people be trying to say that, but see, before Tyson Fury took his break, remember before he went through that 2-year whatever he went through, you don't remember him and Wilder. He jumped in the ring with Wilder. They was talking about fighting. It wasn't no layoff right there. He just was hot off of beating Klitschko. You know what I'm saying? And he jumped in the ring. He would have fought him right then and there. But what happened? Tyson Fury left. He left. So it's not the fact it was a cherry pick. He been wanting to fight Tyson Fury. They were supposed to fight a long time ago.
I wouldn't say cherry honest. Handpick maybe more.
King Cali. Cali King. There's only one problem with that, my friend. And the problem is that while after that confrontation in the ring, Wilder came out and said, well, you know, we have
what do you say?
We have all the things in line, you know. We have all the plans. I gotta find my mandatory. I gotta find my mandatory.
Let Wood get in.
No, that's racist.
Let Wood get in.
You know,
I like that. I like that old Wilder Negro type of talk, man. Keep that up, man. That's funny.
You hear him though?
I like that old Negro talk.
Oh, slave, right?
I like that old Negro. I like that old Negro talk. You gotta add a little zombie in there too. Don't forget he's a zombie in the Negro. He's half Negro, half zombie.
Yeah, it could be a hybrid 75-75 mix.
Shout out to Wood. Wood's a first responder, everybody. Let's thank
first
Wood.
Responder.
Big shout out, man.
Shout out to Wood.
Safe out there, homie.
I appreciate it, man. I'm about to walk off that job a few times, man.
Damn.
You know, I'm gonna bounce out because Fight Doctor's trying to get in.
Yeah,
he had some difficult difficulties. But let me just make my point first before I go. What I would say is I was hoping that part of Wilder's rebuild was going to be fighting Vivera and Vera Bats in the top 10. I'm disappointed that's not going to happen and it's going to be an immediate rematch, but it is what it is. And I think when he does fight what's Vera about him,
who do you see has a better resume?
we're going to actually see how good he actually is. But
hey, I gotta go.
Can I say something? Can I say something about Wilder?
I gotta go.
Can I say something about Wilder real fast?
I gotta go shopping. I'm bouncing out. Take care. Peace out.
Okay.
Rafi ducking Fight Doctor. He's ducking Fight Doctor. He's ducking Fight Doctor.
Go ahead, Wood.
Yeah. It's hard. It's very hard to vote to cheer for a man that can't even accept his defeat like a man. He making all these dumb excuses, talking about he don't know, he can't remember what happened. He can't tell you what happened the first 15 minutes before he came to the ring and all that type of shit. He was a zombie. This is the most I never seen a grown man come up. If you make a mistake, we all have did things and came back better and have second and third chances. Some of us even have fourth chances. How can you make yourself you got to humble yourself and say, hey man, look, I got my ass kicked. I start depending on this one punch power. I start relying on that. I start relying on that. Now I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna start practicing my boxing. I'm gonna come back better. Now, instead of making those childish ass excuses like I was a damn zombie and all that type of shit, man. I can't rock with that type of shit, man. That shit you'll beat your fucking kids for, man. What you mean you ain't do your homework because you felt like a zombie last night? Like, get your ass up there and do your fucking homework, man. I can't. He's a big dumb child and a Negro, man. He's a Negro, man. I can't rock with him.
We gotta let Fight Doctor respond.
All right. That's all. Thanks, man.
Go ahead, Fight Doctor.
Fight Doctor's in the house on Rick James status as always. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's happening?
Look, I have to echo some of Wood's sentiments. I mean, all these excuses make the man look weak. Okay, accept your ass whooping like a man. And personally, I think having George Foreman on his team is a good thing for Deontay Wilder if he'll listen. Now, listen. Let me back up for a second. Let's address the whole issue with Wilder's power being overrated. Go back and watch the first fight I think it was the first fight between Larry Holmes and what's his name? Ernie Shavers. And it was somewhere around the middle of the fight where Ernie Shavers lands the mother of all right hands on Larry Holmes, and Larry Holmes drops like a sack of bricks, right? Now, Ernie Shavers is regarded in some circles as the hardest puncher in the history of the sport. But Larry Holmes was able to get up from a very well-placed right hand that Ernie Shavers landed.
He got up and he won the greatest fighter, so I don't get. All right, go finish. But I was just gonna say I don't see how.
But my point is this. My point is this: is that you can be the hardest puncher in the sport of boxing, but somebody is going to be able to take your best shot, get up and beat your ass, which is exactly what happened in the Holmes and Shavers fight.
I wouldn't compare.
So this whole argument about Wilder's power being overrated because one guy got up and won the fight, that doesn't make any sense. Because
it depends. It depends who you ask. So I think some people will you can't compare Wilder's power to George Foreman. Me personally, I think that's extreme, especially when his career hasn't played out. Although I agree with what you're saying, like just because Fury got back up, that doesn't mean his power is legit. I think as well.
His power is legit,
power is not the same thing.
But again, you can't say a guy's power is overrated because one guy got up. Because as I recall, there were 40 guys before him who didn't. So, that whole argument doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And then on top of that, you have what? Fury is 6'9", 260. I mean, what did he weigh in the first fight? He was 6'9", it was 250?
256, I think.
So you got a guy 6'9", 250, 260, who gets up from your punch. Well, a guy that big, well, he's supposed to, okay? But everyone else failed to go the distance with Deontay Wilder, except for one guy.
It depends who you are. Some people are saying, like, this guy hits harder than George Foreman. I think, personally, I don't think that's how you should judge. Just because those guys are overrating their power doesn't mean you have to critique it. We'd have to look at it from both spectrums. I agree. I think, if he's dropped everyone he's fought, that says something. I know his resume isn't that good, and he hasn't fought as many top 10 guys as some of the other guys he could have fought. But resume and power is not the same thing. If he's hitting guys and guys are going down, like that Dominic Brazil knockout, and the way he just dropped Fury, to me that shows the guy could punch. I don't know. I know this era isn't that strong. I don't know though. There's a guy that hits harder than him right now, a heavyweight, and that's why I do give him a chance in the third fight. I think Fury still needs to be switched on. I think Fury can't get complacent. But obviously, if I was a better man, I'd definitely pick Fury in that third fight. I think Fury's all wrong for Wilder, but you never know in heavyweight boxing.
Well, I'll tell you what. Fury had no misconceptions about Deontay Wilder's power. None whatsoever, okay? Because in the lead up to the first fight, he made it clear that you can't knock out what you can't hit. So his plan was to not get hit, okay? Which he did get hit. It's just, I think, fortunate for him that
not flush.
He didn't really get hit with a real solid punch until the 12th round. Yeah. Now, in my opinion, had Wilder landed that two-piece in the 12th round, if he had landed it instead in the 6th round, we wouldn't be having this conversation because Fury probably wouldn't have got up.
So, I don't know. It's hard to see, but I do get what you're saying. I do think if he landed earlier,
the only thing that can counter argue that is when Fury got up in the 12th round,
he hit him.
He came back and hurt him, and he actually won. Yeah, he started winning the round, in my opinion. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But at the same time, if he landed it earlier, maybe Wilder would have had more effect because they do say as the rounds go. Well, Wilder's power, I think, is rare. I think he carries power to the 12th round. I've obviously been very critical of the guy's resume, the way he's played out his career. But one thing I've always maintained, that right hand is something that I think separates him from guys like Michael Grant and some of these other American heavyweights who I don't think achieved as much as it looks like he's achieved. But at the same time, I do think definitely early on, he's a lot more dangerous. So if he landed that in the 9th round, I think maybe he would have had a better chance of maybe stopping Fury. At the same time, it's tough to say. I think we've seen what Fury did in that 12th round. But I do think if he landed earlier, he would have had more chance because Fury would probably have been a bit more hurt. That was, I think, because it's the 12th round, I don't think Wilder had as much as effect. But it's a tough thing to say because I think in the 12th round, they're both tied as well. So, I mean, we'll never know. That's the thing with that.
Yeah, that's true.
So the question was asked earlier if George Foreman would be good. I think, Beeb, you asked the question of the addition of George Foreman would be beneficial to Deontay Wilder. And I think so. And here's the reason why. If you look around Deontay Wilder's corner, like he has Mark Breland in his corner, right? And so Mark Breland, he comes out of that 1984 Olympic class, that stellar Olympic class with Evander Holyfield and Pernell Whitaker. Yeah. So Mark Breland is a guy who knows how to fight. But here's what Mark Breland lacks that George Foreman brings to the equation. Experience at the highest level against the absolute best. And over a long period of time. I mean, George Foreman won a gold medal in the 68 Olympics, right? Was it 68 Olympics?
That's correct.
Yeah, I think
he's been in the ring. He's been in the ring with Joe Frazier. He used to spar with Sonny Liston. He's been in the ring with Muhammad Ali. He's been in the ring with Evander Holyfield. He's been in the ring with Michael Moore. Okay? Yeah. He's been in the ring with Muhammad Ali. So
would you say
Foreman had? So what George Foreman had? Listen, if George Foreman's old mentor was Archie Moore.
Yeah.
If you go back and look at some of his early fights, Archie Moore's in his corner. Okay. So what George Foreman brings to Deontay Wilder is a wealth of knowledge and experience that's definitely lacking from his current brain trust. So I think if Deontay Wilder can just sort of absorb some of that knowledge, absorb some of that wisdom that I know that George Foreman has, then I think it will benefit him. Now, will it be enough to beat Wilder beat Fury in a rematch? I don't know. But what I can say is this: is that Foreman definitely has the brain trust. He definitely has the experience, the knowledge, the wisdom to guide Deontay Wilder in whatever direction he needs to go to maximize his potential.
Yeah, I was going to say, before I drop it, because I'm going to jump off, would you guys say, should he rather get George Foreman and keep Breland in the camp and corner, whatever, as well? Or would you say get rid of Breland? Because I don't think he should get rid of Breland. Personally, I think he needs to get someone else in his corner. Because I think Breland arguably not only saved his career, might have saved his life in the last fight.
I don't think you should get rid of Breland. I think Breland brings something to the table. I just think that he needs an authoritative voice in that corner, and he needs someone that's going to kind of tell him the truth. And if things are going wrong, then he needs a strong voice in there, not a voice that's going to panic, but just a strong voice and an honest voice, and someone that's going to really give him some solid advice and not just try to be a yes man in there, because those guys looked out of sorts on that night because they were in a place that they weren't used to being, and they didn't know how to react to it. And that was the problem. That was definitely the problem.
Yeah, I agree with that. I gotta jump off, but thanks for having me on.
All right, no problem.
Same for the rest of the band. All right.
I don't know who else is. There's no one left. Yeah, so anyone else got any final words? Because I'm about to jump off too. We've been on there for almost 2 hours, man. We pretty much said all we could say about this.
Yeah, man, you can wrap it up, baby. If he don't get nobody, if he need to find somebody he'll listen to, and I believe he was listening to Mark Breland at first, and he took a terrible turn and started relying on totally power. And if he start listening to Mark Breland and start listening to anybody and go back to his old ways, and he got a chance. That's all I gotta say. He got a chance.
I got you. Anything else, Fight Doctor, before we wrap this up?
I don't know, man. I don't know if he can bounce back and beat Fury in the rematch, in the rubber match. I don't know. I mean, I have to, agree with some of the comments that Wood made about the excuses. It looks kind of weak. So, you should just take your ass whooping like a man, analyze what you did wrong, and then, shore up, correct those deficiencies. So question is, can he or will he? So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, guys, thank you for joining in. And as always, join us at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday night for the Ringside Reporter podcast radio show. And we'll see you then, man. Thanks.
I will be there.
All right, guys. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.